It's time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back, and look who I have here.
Hey,
good morning, RJ.
Good morning.
How are you awake?
Barely.
I woke up this morning, and I had a monster, and I went and I tried my best to do some running, and I feel like the Energizer Bunny this morning. I have so much energy.
I should have took a page out of your book. I'm like,
That's all right. That's okay. If you're not awake, we'll wake you up.
Yes.
But we are back, guys. We're back to recap the Real Housewives of Atlanta, episode 7. And guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, hit that like button, show some love. And by the way, before we get started, I think a congratulations is in order because RJ just joined the YouTube partner program.
Yes.
And it was after one video. I mean, I know that you just put up another video, but I think essentially it was the one video that got you there.
It was the one video. As a matter of fact, I made partnership within the first 2 weeks. I didn't check the email because I have two separate Google accounts. So I was locked into my main one, and I didn't even check the other one. So I was like, oh my God, I've been got approved. So now I'm a partner. So it's crazy.
How exciting is that? I remember when we were talking and I was like, RJ, you have to make a YouTube channel. Not like I take any credit for this at all. This is all you. But I remember when we were talking about it and you were kind of second guessing and like saying you don't know if you should or shouldn't. But I also had another idea for you too. I think that would be really good for you. We'll talk about it after. But now you inspired Jason. Now Jason wants to join YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, you were really the one who pushed me and urged me to make YouTube. And then after the video, the live that I did, there were a whole other people, just like, you should make YouTube. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, thank you for obviously coming on with me. I have so much fun talking with you. This started when we started talking about Real Housewives of Potomac. And like I said, now we're back to do Atlanta. So with that being said, shall we jump right in?
Let's jump in.
All right. So this episode, we're going to South Carolina because, again, with COVID, they're not getting the extravagant housewives trips. Sometimes, I mean, they've been to the Bahamas, they've been to Jamaica, they've been to Europe, they've been all over the place. But with COVID, we're going to South Carolina.
Right.
But what I do have to say before we get there is, did you see that freaking house? That house was stunning.
That house was amazing.
Yeah. I mean,
amazing.
I do have a few other questions too when we get to that point. But before we do, let's just go through the episode and see what everyone thinks. Okay, so we start off with Cynthia trying to call all of the women and nobody's answering.
Right.
It's going straight to voicemail every single time. And she's like, what is up with this group? Sounds like the group really doesn't care that Cynthia is calling, which is crazy. If Cynthia was calling me, I would pick up the phone. But what's even crazier is that they pick up the phone for Drew Sidora, our newbie. Drew actually addressed the reason that she had not been filming so much. And I was wondering if this is like maybe she didn't get on with the girls, or was this because she tested positive for COVID? But now it makes sense. She had ankle surgery. Mm-hmm. So that's why she wasn't around everybody. Makes total sense. So before they end up going on this cast trip, she wants to get a little bit more acquainted with the women, and she invites them all over to her house for this like group dinner.
Yes.
Okay. That was good. Now, what I do want to say is when she's addressing this ankle surgery, her husband, Ralph, who we've seen him be in a jerk off a little bit. That's the best way I can put that. But he also seems like he has a sweet side.
Yes. I knew it was there. It was there. Like I said it, like when we talked about the couple, like when they were really going through, I was like, I hope that I could see the brighter side of him and both of them together. Cause I knew it was there. I could sense that it was there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But what I didn't necessarily understand is him getting her a scooter. Maybe it's she has better balance than I do, or I don't know. I can't walk a straight line, but then give me a bum ankle after an ankle surgery, and then you're going to put me on this two-wheel thing that you have to balance on? No way.
And then he said that he said, I'm going to pull out a life insurance policy on you. That to me was like I was enjoying everything up until then. I was just like, really?
Drew, don't get on that scooter. Okay. Probably put the brakes on that. Okay. No,
literally.
I'm just kidding. But moving on, I'm excited that Drew's finally going to start getting into the group and everything, and she's going to get to know these women. And I'm still trying to find out or figure out, I guess, if I think that Drew Sidora is even a good fit for these ladies, because while she might be interesting on her own, maybe, I don't know. I just haven't seen enough of her yet. But it seems like she pops off next episode, so we'll get to see.
I think she is. I think that she could definitely integrate easily into this circle, and I think that she is very entertaining. It's genuine. She's not trying to be anybody but herself, and it's organic with her. And I really love her dynamic with the show and her family. So yeah. I'm a fan.
And I mean, honestly, it takes a lot for somebody to come on and be so I cannot have any more caffeine. I am like shaking and on fire right now.
Really?
But it's so exciting. Yeah, I'm in a good mood. I don't know what it is.
That's good though. Good mood, good.
It is good.
Yes.
But I'm I commend her because she is coming onto the show. She's sharing these raw moments with her husband. Obviously, she knows that she's going to take a beating from the viewers over this, or at least he is. I mean, he's going to get the wrath of the Super Bravo fans because it's not conventional and it's borderline wrong. You can't just go disappear on your wife for 3 days, turn your phone off, not be in contact with her, leave the kids at home, and then watch the cameras to make sure she's doing everything that she's supposed to. It's weird.
It was kind of weird. And for him to not expect, well, I don't know what he was expecting, but yeah, you will get backlash from that. I mean, it's not right.
Right.
Especially in a marriage.
I agree with you, but I do want to ask you a question. And it's not like it takes a brain surgeon or scientist, I don't know how that expression goes, whatever, to figure it out. Who would you say the two biggest troublemakers on this franchise this year would be?
Troublemakers?
Yeah.
Troublemakers.
The ones stirring the pot. They're like frickin' frack, running around together.
It seems to me it's Kenya and LaToya. They are.
Yes, Kenya and LaToya. This is a weird little duo. I mean, weird and also probably extremely dangerous because they both like to stir the pot and they both like to get reactions out of people. I mean, it seems like Kenya met her match, but what I love about this duo is that it always comes back to bite you. Usually you think you team up with somebody, and if LaToya does make it to next season, I'm sure we'll get a rift between her and Kenya. And this is somebody, when I say dirty, I mean, she plays dirty. Like, you could tell she's coming for Drew Sidora's wig. She's talking about people's fashion sense. Like, she's coming in so hot, and she just got here. So it's like, girl, read the name cards. Get to know everybody. Ask them their favorite color. Do you have a hobby? Not just go straight in for their wig and their edges.
Maybe that's just who she is. I think that might just be who she is. Like, because the way she would say things about people behind their back and in front of their face seemed so natural, honestly. It didn't really seem like it was a front. It seemed like it was something that she probably does in real life. Like, she's just outspoken and blunt and opinionated. And that's probably why she's on the show.
I mean, it's not, I don't want to say I dislike LaToya, but I really don't like people like that. Like somebody who can just so obviously and blatantly say something in your face that they know will probably hurt your feelings when that person's never done anything to you to warrant that. I just don't know how people go through life like being that abrasive.
I don't like that either. Matter of fact, I was just talking to somebody last night about that. About inviting certain people to certain events. You can't invite certain people, certain associates to certain events because they don't know how to act, and you have to be careful with where you put these people and the places you put them in. And LaToya is somebody who I wouldn't invite to like certain parties because she would start stuff, she would say stuff, and it's uncouth.
I mean, just to be fair, it didn't seem like Drew Sidora wanted to invite her to her dinner. It seemed like she was a little reluctant in doing so because when Kenya and LaToya, obviously, let's get to it, they met up for breakfast and Kenya was trying to fight her urge to eat chicken and waffles because she's trying to lose some weight. And LaToya was like, you better order a veggie omelet. Like, not playing. She's right there trying to keep her in line. And then they had this odd exchange of some lingerie where it looked like LaToya was going to, I don't know. She just, I mean, she's fun, right? So she's obviously, the lingerie wasn't used. She's like sniffing it like this, having a good time with it. But they're just, maybe they're a fun, flirty little duo. I need to see more of them to kind of figure it out. But Drew Sidora conveniently calls, good job production, during this breakfast and invites Kenya to her dinner. When she invites Kenya to the dinner, though, she's like, is LaToya invited? And she's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, she can come. And it's almost like Drew Sidora has already heard about the wig thing before Porsha dropped that tea to her.
Right.
Because why else would she be that reluctant in inviting her?
Exactly. I mean, unless she's just that intuitive, where she could just feel that energy that's coming her way from LaToya is not good. But I doubt that. She probably had somebody probably told her.
Yeah, exactly. Because before we end up moving on, you know, it's the same thing that once we get to the dinner where Drew kind of throws the shade at Kenya and she's like, Kenya, how are you getting to South Carolina? When we know that, right?
Yes.
Right? When we already know that Kenya told her when she was having breakfast, oh, LaToya and I are going to be flying a private jet and the rest of you ladies are going to be on a Sprinter. I've arranged it for you to pick you up at Candy's house. But for me, I'm bringing the nanny in Brooklyn, so we need to fly private. It's like, no, you don't. You can get a second Sprinter, and that would have cost you a lot less. She's like, well, we have to get there earlier. No, you don't. And if you did, you can take the bus maybe 2-3 hours earlier. Same thing. What are you talking about?
Exactly. No, she just wanted to get the private jet. I mean, if anything, she could have, you know, because she was saying, oh, you know, if the jet is any larger, then it'll be $50,000. Hello, there's other women that are included in this. You could, with those other women, you could have easily gotten a bigger jet. So to me, that was just an excuse. I was just like, okay, like.
Yeah, but did you see how she shaded? She's like, I can't help it. Like, some of these women don't have good credit scores, and almost like these women can't afford the extravagant things in life. Kenya is not the richest housewife on this show, mind you. Like, Porsha has more money than Kenya. Candy has more money than Kenya. Cynthia probably doesn't. But Marlo might even have more money than Kenya at this point. I don't know. I feel like she's trying to show out.
Yeah, I mean, even when, I mean, I'm kind of fast forwarding here, but when the information was brought out that she was going to catch the jet, you see probably one of the wealthiest housewives, Candy, say, oh, you rich? And she pulls her hair back like this. And I was just like, girl, like, yes, like what is it giving?
Right. And I think Candy's worth about, I want to say it's between 30 and $40 million, which is crazy. Kenya's nowhere near that level of wealth. Nowhere near it.
Candy earned it. I mean, Kenya's been out for a while too. She, you know, she was out way before the show. Everybody knows that. But Candy has been out since the 90s with her group, her girl group, making that dough and making boss moves.
Right. Well, it says that Kenya Moore is worth $2 million. And I just wanted to look that up really quick because I'm like, she can't be worth anything close to Candy. And it says that Candy is worth $30 million, just to be clear. So they, again, are on two totally different playing fields, but she's still a millionaire. And before we move on, guys, I want to go ahead and ask you again, if you haven't already, show some love, hit that like button. Let's get more eyes in the room. And let's keep it moving. I wanted to ask you, too, before we get to the dinner, who do you think pays for this jet? Do you think that Kenya talked to production and they arranged this to kind of stir the pot and get things going on the show? Or do you think that Kenya actually fronted the money for this jet?
That's the thing. Like, I don't know that much about production with the other Housewives shows to where like I would believe that they're footing the bill for stuff that it would have otherwise not been something that they would have paid for. Like, okay, like the trip. The production pays for the trip, right?
Yeah, the cast trips are always paid for.
Okay, so I like her renting a jet. I would think that maybe, if anything, maybe they went half and half. Maybe she paid half and then they paid the other half. But I honestly don't believe that they had any part in it at all, like as far as the payment for it. I don't think that they would.
That production would?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Unless they said, we're going to take it out of your salary, because I know that the housewives get paid half up front and then half when they get finished filming the season.
That could have been something that they arranged, having it taken out of her salary. But yeah, I just don't believe. I mean, because jets are expensive.
Right.
Like, I couldn't imagine them just wanting to do that and foot in the whole entire bill. I just can't see it.
Okay.
It's not worth it. I mean, it's just a little tiny, no, it's not worth it.
And it's 4 hours away.
Right.
Why do you? Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Anyways, let's move on to Drew's dinner. LaToya came for her first wig when she showed up at Lake Bailey, but what do you think LaToya would have said about this one?
I think LaToya would have probably said, like, was that poodle inspired?
Yeah, she would have thrown shade.
Or like, yeah.
She definitely would have thrown shade, and people were clowning Drew for. I mean, she said she got her hair and makeup done and stuff for this dinner, but people were clowning her for the overdone purple eyeshadow and the what Kenya called a poodle wig. I thought she looked nice and she was in good spirits.
Yeah, she was, and I thought, it wasn't, the hair wasn't particularly my taste, but I could see how she would want to be trendy, and Georgia is kind of like that. Like, Georgia, you'll see ladies with all different kinds of hairstyles. Like, they're known for it. So she's pushing the edge. She's being trendy. I don't see anything wrong with it. Like I said, not my taste, but I don't see anything wrong with it. It's fun.
Okay, no, that's fair. Well, what I do see something wrong with is the fact that you're throwing this party. You're trying to bring, like she said, LA to the A. And you have the bartenders, you have everybody, but nobody's answering the freaking door. Like, you have all of these people working there. You have Chef Love. You have these bartenders. You have everybody, like, everything properly done.
No
table set, and you guys are going to sit there and talk and you don't hear the door? I mean, I actually don't think they answered the door for... Well, I mean, they did answer it finally for Cynthia, and they did answer it for Kenya. But anyways, it took everybody forever.
Walked right in.
Yeah, Candy was just like, I'm not waiting outside. I know how this works. They're filming inside anyways.
Okay.
Yeah. But once they all sit down and they're kind of getting to know each other, I didn't realize that Porsha has never met Drew Sidora. Because in this moment, Portia's like, I'm expecting to see this girl and see her glue coming off of her wig and seeing her edges all messed up. And I was like, wait, you actually haven't met her yet. I completely forgot about that. And this is her first time kind of getting to know her. And in doing so, Porsha just drops the bomb on Kenya's girlfriend, LaToya, saying, hey, listen, I just want to bring something up. That is not your friend. She is shady, and she shaded your wig. And Drew's like, good job, Porsha.
Yeah, Drew was very, like, she wasn't happy about that, of course, because it's just like, you don't even know me, and you're going around town talking about me. Like, what did I do to you? Nothing. Like, Drew has not even, like, really been with the women at all. And it sucks because I wish she was. But yeah, she wasn't really around the women for you to be talking about her like that. Like, and it's yeah.
It's shady. But I thought it was fun when Drew just redirects it right back at Kenya, because it's almost like, again, she knows something that we don't know or we haven't seen yet. And she redirects it at Kenya, and she's like, look at Kenya. This is COVID. Don't come for my COVID wig. We're all trying our best. Look at Kenya. She's in a tracksuit with her hair pulled back.
Right.
And I was like,
yeah, and that was clever. And you see, the more you see Drew, you see when she's with these women, she cannot be made out to be some sort of puppet. If there's something that she knows, she's going to let you know, but in a subtle way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I think Kenya was probably trying to make her, kind of like pull strings behind the scenes with Drew, but it didn't work.
Well, it's working with LaToya, so I think that Kenya thought it would work with Drew.
Right. But yeah, it's definitely not working with Drew, and that's one of the reasons why I like her so much.
Well, and I'm also curious because LaToya was the only one who was a no-show, and we didn't really, I don't think, unless we did get a reason why, guys, go ahead and let me know, but I didn't catch it. Do you think production purposely had LaToya not show up, that way Porsha could drop this ball? Or do you think, no, LaToya had a previous or a prior engagement and that's why she didn't show up? Because technically, they could have just made her call time a little bit later and then told Porsha, okay, drop the wig bomb, and then boom, here comes LaToya to have a little bit of conflict.
Right. No, I think that maybe LaToya, she might have had a prior engagement, because it would have been way more juicier if LaToya would have showed up and been there to actually respond to Porsha saying what she said, and then seeing how that all played out with the three of them, Porsha, Drew, and LaToya. Because I don't think LaToya would have denied that she said it, and it would have been I think it would have got really heated.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, LaToya's not going to back down, and that's what kind of brings me to the big question that I have at the end about this trip when we see Drew Sidora pop off and say, you know, don't play with me, I'm from Chicago. I don't know who she was talking to, whether that was Kenya.
LaToya.
It was LaToya?
It was LaToya. Because when she said it, you see the camera pans to LaToya's face, and LaToya's face, she looked mighty scared.
Really?
Like, yeah, she looked really scared. She was like, and that's sort of like indicative to what I would have thought would have happened at the gathering at Drew's house if LaToya would have showed up. But maybe, okay, you know what? Actually, maybe production thought it would be juicier if more drama happened on the girl trip, because they needed more drama to happen on the girl trip. Because up until then, there wasn't really anything that hot or spicy with these episodes. So maybe they probably thought, production probably thought, okay, let's save that. Let's let Porsha just drop the bomb at Drew's house, and then let's save LaToya and in the Drew moment for the trip, so we can have it be more juicier. Because you don't want the girl trip to be a complete bore. So that was just one more thing that production can add on top. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe production did do that.
No, I think you're right. I think that this could have been a little bit of a buildup, because now it's festering with Drew. Production can talk in their ear a little bit. And we just witnessed this again. I know that you don't watch Orange County, but I did a video on this. Vicky Gumbelson is blaming production for the reason she was fired, because she's saying that there was one producer in particular who would come up and stir the pot and tell Vicky, you know, Shannon said this about you. You need to call her out while you're at Tamara's house. And that's kind of what production does. I've seen it on the other spectrum with a different show on Bravo. But I mean, yeah, they probably orchestrated this and then said, okay, we're going to save this and have a build up. And then we're going to have the women talk about it a little bit in the bus and talk about like the double standard thing that's going on. 100%. Absolutely. I believe that.
Yeah. I agree with you on that.
All right.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
No. I was just saying, yes, I definitely agree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, so at this dinner party too, you know, they're talking about Cynthia can't make it on the Sprinter. She has a business thing to do. Yes. And then all of a sudden, Kenya's telling the women, she's like, I have arranged for a Sprinter to pick you all up at Candy's house. And as far as me, and because she wasn't going to address how she was getting there, Drew was like, how are you getting there, Kenya? And she starts smiling and laughing because she knows she's going to get a reaction. And she's like, well, I'm actually taking a private jet because I have the nanny. And, you know, she didn't even mention her daughter actually at this. Right. She said she had the nanny and she had LaToya to bring. So it's just strange, because had she have mentioned it, there wouldn't have been this whole kind of blow up once we get to the Sprinter, because the women are kind of mad that she brought her kid and didn't extend the invite to any of the women. I mean, Porsha said she was crying after leaving her kid. Candy's a new mom. Shamia's a new mom. It's, you know, it was kind of shady.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Like, let them know that you're bringing your baby so they can decide whether or not they want to bring that baby. I mean, come on now. This kind of was reminiscent of Ashley, when Ashley from Potomac Housewives, when they went to Monique's lake house.
I was just going to say that.
And yeah, that to me was reminiscent of that. And you saw how Wendy got so upset. She's like, I could have brought my baby as well. So, you know, that's what I'm relating this to. I feel like, come on now, Kenya. Like, if you're going to bring your baby and you know everybody else has young babies, young kids, like, why wouldn't you extend that offer to them as well? Why wouldn't you?
Which is shady. But I think that Kenya was looking at it from a standpoint like, you guys have people who can take care of your kid. I don't have anyone to take care of my kid. But that's also kind of bull, because you do. If you can afford to fly private, you can afford for somebody to stay with your kid.
Totally. I don't think that was her reasoning at all. I think she was just trying to be, the head in charge, and just, basically I'm doing whatever I want to do. I don't care what these women think.
Right. Okay. So once they all start arriving at Candy's house, and they start getting ready to get on this bus, we see that Dennis drops off Porsha, and that sparks, whatever you want to call it, rumors swirling about, are you guys getting back together? Candy made a joke saying that get a little bit of Hennessy in her, and boom, they're back together. But we do have to remember he cheated on her in one of the most vulnerable points in her life while she was pregnant, while she felt like she was larger than she's used to being. I mean, you hear this a lot from women who are pregnant, right? Where they just feel like they're not their best selves at the moment. Some women, I think, really embrace it and they feel like they love being pregnant and they feel they're most beautiful and that they have a glow. And other women feel like they walk around and they're like, ugh, I hate this. So, you know, I mean, to cheat on somebody, period, is bull. But to cheat on them during that phase in their life, it's like you're a D word. Yeah. Just to be fair. But I did think once the conversation got flowing on the bus, we see Marlo Hampton show up in her little hazmat suit, being all extra, and Tanya's there. Of course, she's not going to miss a filming opportunity, even though she quit this season. Everybody starts coming on the bus, but how did Kenya not only not invite them on the private jet, but then get them a Sprinter with no air conditioning?
I know. That was so messed up. I really felt bad for them. They were suffering. They were sweating. I was just like, oh my God, this is terrible. That's just one more thing to add on the tension between Kenya and these women.
She's like building them up.
Adam, I would be livid. Matter of fact, I would probably get off of the Sprinter and literally like make arrangements to get there like some other way. I don't care if I was late or whatever, because being in that Sprinter with no air conditioning would just send me.
Yeah, that would have made me mad. I mean, honestly, it's again ridiculous. And Porsha made a joke. She's like, this is not the kind of WAP that I want. She's like, I feel like I'm getting all sweaty and salty in areas that I don't want to be sweaty and salty in.
When she said that, my mouth dropped. I was like, no, she did not just say this is not the WAP that I want. I was like, oh my God.
Okay.
She's hilarious.
She is hilarious. I like Porsha. Honestly, everyone like drags me through the mud because I say that I think she's the front runner, especially this season, because we all know Nene Leakes was Real Housewives of Atlanta. And then what she says, she feels like they discriminated against her, that she feels like the network has, I guess just discrimination issues and wanted to take it out on her and tried phasing her out for the last 4 years. But when you thought of Atlanta, you thought of Nene Leakes. And now when I think of Atlanta, since she's gone, I still think of Nene Leakes. But really, the one who's the most interesting to me is Porsha. Yeah,
she stands out as the lead in a way.
Yeah, which is crazy because that is not how she started this franchise. But welcome back, I guess. Marlo brings up an interesting topic of threesomes, which I thought was funny because for Marlo, she's like, you would have to pay me, you have to pay me to do a threesome or whatever. And if Kenya would have been there, she would have been like, girl, we know that these old white men pay you to, and that she always throws that shade because Marlo always shows up and she says, yeah, I have a sugar daddy. Yes, I'm dating a billionaire. I'm dating a rich man. He's 70 something years old. Yes, he wants to buy me cars and houses. And Kenya's like, yeah, that's called the sugar daddy. There's no dancing around it, but Marlo's kind of in her own way made a life out of it. So good for you, Marlo. But when she's talking about the threesomes, they go over to Candy and they mention the threesome thing to Candy. And Candy says, yeah, absolutely, we have them. And Tanya brings up the point, do you make people sign NDAs? And Candy goes, yes. And she's like, no, but seriously, do you make people sign NDAs? And Candy goes, no, seriously, yes. I was like, what is going on in this place?
Yeah, I didn't really watch Atlanta, but I knew of Candy's sex line and her sex dungeon stuff because like a couple of the ladies that I knew from RHOA went to one of her tours that she did. So I kind of knew that she had a little freaky part in her. And I also heard some other stuff about Todd and Candy. So I was just like, that didn't surprise me. I'm glad that she owned it. And that's what you do when you are on a reality show like this. You have to own your stuff so nobody can ever come for you and try to paint a narrative about you or your family. You have to own it. Like, oh yeah, I do have threesomes, and I have to sign NDAs. Okay, and yes, I do have a sex dungeon. Yeah, and now
Does she? She doesn't have a sex dungeon though, does she?
oh well they well I don't know, but then
I mean, Porsha says she does.
yeah, Porsha said she did, and she also made them saying that a business. She made
Right.
that a business, which was great. I take that back. I don't know if she has a sex dungeon, but she I mean you could just tell she a freak. Like they do what they do.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, that is what it is, I
And
guess.
Todd, I mean, like Todd was just like talking about all these strippers and having them zip line down to the, So that dynamic in that relationship,
It works.
yeah, of them being freaks is not far fetched at all. I'm
Yeah,
glad.
no, I mean, listen, at this point in 2021, I was about to say 2020. Thank God that awful year is over.
I know,
In
right?
2021, this has been like the year of unconventional relationships. We're seeing it all across the board where we have like Bronwyn OC, who they married to her husband, but she doesn't like men. So she has a girlfriend now. The girlfriend comes to dinner with them, and now the husband has a girl. Like, this is the year of unconventional marriages, which is so interesting to me. And it's not saying Candy and her husband being a little freaky is not unconventional, or is unconventional, but whatever, at least they own it. So, hey, more power to them. But I do want to get back over to Kenya and LaToya for a second, because while everybody's getting all hot and bothered in the bus, Kenya and LaToya have arrived at this beautiful home in South Carolina, and they're starting to assign rooms. This is also shady.
Yes, very.
Why not pick straws? Why not do it in a fun way? Like, you guys arrive first, you guys take the rooms, and then let the rest of the women pick straws. But no, Kenya's like, I'm going to assign them. Marlo, you're in the gutter. You get this room with no window. Like Cynthia, oh, you're going to get married this year, so this feels like a bridal suite. And she's like going through, and she's shady with how she does it, but okay.
I mean, she's the host of the trip, right?
Yeah, but she doesn't pay for the trip. That's the thing. It's like, who gives you the crown to be the host of the trip? Are you arranging everything? Because like we see in the upcoming episode, she orders crab cakes for herself for breakfast and leaves all the other women to fend for themselves. She gets herself a jet and leaves them with a sprinter. She gives herself the best room and gives the guest house to her nanny and her daughter, but nobody can invite their kids. Honestly, as soon as I walked in, I would have walked right back out.
Yeah, I wonder, is she doing that for a rise out of the women, or is she just naturally like that?
I think that she knows that secures her spot on the show. And I just honestly, I would find somebody like that to be extremely difficult to deal with. I mean, that's probably why her now soon-to-be ex-husband, Mark Daly, has blocked her, which is what I made the thumbnail about, because Mark Daly, he did announce that he filed for divorce, and while he wishes her the best, he really doesn't want to be with her anymore. He just wants to have a successful co-parenting relationship. But then he goes up, you blocked her. How do you block her? That's not a successful co-parenting relationship, which is even more interesting because he kind of clowned her out after she just appeared on Watch What Happens Live in December, literally a month ago, talking about to Andy how Mark Daly wants to come out and make a public apology for his behavior and how he wants to make things work, and they're focusing on it. They might go to counseling. It's like, where did all of that go? That just all went out the window. Did he have a change of heart? Did he do a 180? Because now he blocked you and announced the divorce.
Yeah, it's that's the thing. It's just like, it's been up and down with them. I remember seeing a picture of them from TMZ, or actually a video of them walking in the airport and they were holding hands or whatever. And I thought they were on the men there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really want for Kenya to have the love of her life and be happily married. I mean, the girl has been through a lot. I know that she's been through a lot. So, I wanted her to be happy, but like, you have to fix the inner part of you before you can successfully be with somebody else, because otherwise it's not going to get too far.
Well, Tracy Chappelle made a good point and said, did you see how he wouldn't let Brooklyn be on the show anymore? I don't know if you noticed this, but they blurred Brooklyn out. Yeah. Do you find that to be a little bit of a double standard? Because when he was in cahoots, good terms, when he was on good terms with Kenya, he let Brooklyn be featured on the show. But now that they're getting a divorce, he's like, you know what? I'm pulling the plug. Don't put my baby on that show.
Yeah, I feel like Mark is a little emotionally immature.
Okay.
You know, because like I said, even though I didn't watch the show, I mean, when I'm on YouTube, there's clips that pop up and things that look interesting. And then there's bloggers that I would or vloggers that I would listen to. So I knew a little bit about that relationship and that dynamic. So he needs to work on himself. They both need to work on themselves before they can be with anybody.
Okay. And there's a few people who, obviously have opinions about him, but Mark is trash. There's something about him in that relationship that was never quite believable to me. It always seems more like an arrangement instead of a real relationship. Mark is a man baby. He has fits like a toddler. And then I wanted to bring this up to you. What is your thoughts on this? And guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, hit that like button, show some more love. But I'm curious. Kev 2020 said, what we learned from Real Housewives of Potomac is that you need to tell the host you want to bring your baby. Pretty much a closed mouth won't get fed.
Okay.
I don't know if I honestly, Kev 2020, I don't know if I technically believed that. I feel like personally that if she's the host and she's arranging this trip, she should have kind of extended that olive branch, especially if she knew that her baby was coming. Like, why not invite the other kids and have them just bring their nannies and they can stay in the other rooms or the guest house or whatever? It would give Brooklyn someone to play with. I mean, honestly, why not? It was just a way to get a reaction out of the rest of the women.
Yeah, to get a reaction. That's what I believe.
Okay. Well, like you said, once they arrive there, obviously the women are all kind of all over the place. They're mad. They're sweaty. Like Porsha said, she has the wop that she doesn't want. And we see where Marlo gets there, sees her room, and has kind of a fit. We also see where these hosting skills of Kenya kind of goes more and more downhill as the show goes on, or this trip goes on. But then, like you said at the beginning, Drew said she is going to unleash her inner Chicago on these keywords. But you said that she was talking to LaToya. I thought I saw Fallon in there.
It seemed to me that when Drew said what she said, the camera instantly panned to LaToya. And I just distinctly remembering after Drew saying what she said, it panned to LaToya's face, and she looked like she was in shock. That scene was very tricky because they doctored it up and everything was edited really, in a weird way. But it seemed to me, in the logical sense, that after Drew said what she said, they immediately turned to LaToya, and then the camera started going all crazy. So, but I do remember that specifically. Actually, I watched that part specifically right before I got on with you. That's how I knew in confidence, because I wanted to see the end again, that end part, and that was what happened.
Okay. Well, I'm curious to see what happens with all of them. Obviously, we know this is where Strippergate comes in.
Right.
This is when they say that Porsha and Tanya allegedly both hooked up with the stripper. Kenya started this rumor. We don't even know if it's a rumor, if it's true, but Tanya and Porsha both say that it's not true. It didn't happen. And I actually pushed Tanya to be like, you know what? I'm not filming with these women anymore because this is affecting my life and my marriage, and they play dirty, and I can't be around people who are just spreading these vicious lies when they don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
But Kenya swears up and down, I heard noises coming from the bedroom, and that things did happen. Mind you, Porsha is a single woman. If she wanted to, in fact, hook up with anybody, she is more than welcome to do that. Right. Tanya is not a single woman. But, I mean, if Porsha wanted to, it sounds like, Kenya, don't be mad. It sounds like you're a little bit mad about this. But what are your predictions as far as how the women are going to get on, what's going to happen with Strippergate, pretty much what's going to happen in South Carolina? What are you looking forward to most next episode?
What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to see how Drew got to that point with, right now we're guessing, but how Drew got to that point with LaToya.
Okay.
I'm looking to see how that pans out because it looked so intense, and we haven't seen this much drama. Well, I haven't seen this much drama since I've started watching this season. So
Right.
I'm just like, okay, where did this come from, and how did we get here? Because Drew does not strike me as the type that would just pop off for no God-given reason. She
Right.
seems like a really leveled, centered girl. So, and then you said that you saw Fallon on there.
I think I saw Fallon. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, honey, if Fallon is on there, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing her on the next episode or the next few episodes. Love her. I would love to know how she has transported in, whether she took her jet or whether she drove.
I hope she took her jet and she was like, "Oh, girl, you chartered one."
Right.
That's cute.
That shade, like we need that shade. What else am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to to see more of the crab cake thing. Because first of all, crab cakes, that's my favorite kind of food. And I think Kenya ordered only one. And then we see how that pans out. And then Kenya also was making a whole pig. So I'm curious to see why she did that. Like, was it after the crab cake or before the crab cake? Like,
Well, I think she was trying to say, you guys are mad about a crab cake. Like, I got a whole pig. We're going to have a whole pig roast. I already did that for you guys. Like, let me eat what I want to eat. But at the same time, like Candy said, that's messed up. You ordered food for yourself. And like, what are we all supposed to do?
I guess eat pig.
Yeah, right. As far as the Drew Sidora thing, I'm almost curious. And this is obviously, I'm just guessing at this point. I don't know. But I wonder if maybe LaToya took this too far. And as soon as they walked in, maybe LaToya even shaded Drew again, not knowing that Drew was probably at this point. Maybe she said, "Oh, girl, nice wig," or something like that. You know, just kind of trying to stir the pot because that is LaToya. And Drew was like, "Okay, that's a lot. You're not going to sit here and clown me." You know?
This is going to be great.
I can't finally, though. It's episode 8. Like, we need it to be great.
This is going to be great. And like I said before, I have so much faith in Drew. I think that she is here to stay. And I really hope that the producers give her another chance for next season because she didn't really get to film that much this season. Because I feel like she is a star in the making on this RHOA. I really do. So
Okay.
pin down my words.
All right.
And let's see what happens in the future because I think she's here to stay.
All right. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. With that being said, guys, if you haven't already, I know I say this a lot, but go ahead, hit that like button, show some love. Also, RJ, where can we find you?
Yes, so you can find me. First of all, you can find me on YouTube now. So type in RJ, space it out, and then Allan, ALLAN. And on Instagram, you can find me at RJ.ALLAN. So RJ.Allan.
Yeah. And also in my community tab, when I posted this video, I tag RJ in it so you guys can find him there. And then I'll make sure that I put his YouTube in the description of this video. Also, I wanted to say Jason will be going to, yesterday, he ended up dropping this little bomb on me. He's like, he has to go to DC and see his mom and brother for a few days and help them with some stuff. But he's like, I'm going to reach out to RJ and see what he's doing. Like, maybe I'll meet up with RJ. And I was like, yeah. You can't go meet RJ before I meet him in person. And Jason's like, I think I can.
Why don't you come?
Well, because I have the dogs here. So they're going up. He's going to pick up some of his stuff. And I know he has one car and a bunch of stuff to load in the car. And his mom is moving. So he has to go pick up a lot of his stuff. And there's no room for me. But otherwise, I would be coming.
Oh my gosh, that would have been so fantastic. You have to come.
We could have even filmed it.
I know.
Okay.
Well, maybe y'all can figure out something between now and then.
Yeah. Yeah. Or hey, if you ever come down to South Florida, I mean, we have pretty beaches. We have little islands.
Look, whenever I come, you'll be the first person that I call. I mean, but it's my birthday's next weekend, so that would have been, I don't know when he's coming, but that would have been a nice little birthday surprise. I know it's going to be sometime in February, obviously. So
yeah, it's going to be sometime in February. But hey, happy birthday, almost. Thank you. We'll figure it out. But I'm sure Jason will be reaching out. And yeah, as always, RJ, it's a pleasure. And thank you so much for joining me again.
Yes, always my pleasure. Thank you, Adam. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. And guys, for the rest of you, I will see you guys at 1:00. We will be recapping Below Deck. We'll also have Fem Tarot coming on for lightning tarot card readings. And yes, for the last 30 minutes. So you guys are more than welcome to call in. Call in, seriously, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you call in, I will make sure you have an opportunity to ask a question. Fem Tarot always hits the nail on the head. It's almost scary. At first, I was skeptical. I'm not anymore. And also, I did a community post, which was a poll. Jason will be starting his own YouTube channel in February or the end of February. So I'm just curious what you guys think about that. And yeah, then we can go show him some love too. So,
oh my God, Jason too?
Yeah, I'm going to have to share my studio space. We'll put a desk over there and I'll be like, get out of my face over there.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Okay.
All right. Well, RJ, I'll see you next time. And
all right, Adam,
have a great day.
You too. Thank you.